So Avowed has fully released now, and like many of you, I didn't buy the early access version. I waited to try it out on GamePass, and to say I was excited about a new Obsidian game is probably an understatement. Oh, we're in! What a time to be alive. Now let's hope my controller works. I don't usually watch reviews when I'm going to cover a game myself, but I couldn't help myself this time, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to play this on launch, so I did listen to a few of them. And Avowed didn't sound like a great RPG. As in, it didn't have reactive dialogue, a deep story, or rich characters, and to be honest, I was kind of a bit disappointed listening to this. But one thing that sort of pulled me back was that I did hear that the gameplay was fluid and fun, unlike many other first-person RPGs. This genre is great for many reasons. It's the most immersive way to experience a fantastical world. It can build strong relationships between you and a fictional character, and it can capture your imagination like no other. But one thing they haven't always been great at is compelling gameplay mechanics that make simply playing the game fun. Playing games like Skyrim, Fallout, Starfield, or The Outer Worlds will always give you amazing characters and some cool quests and all this sort of stuff. But the movement feels sluggish, and the combat, well, even in the modern games like Starfield and Outer Worlds, it simply isn't great. So going into Avowed, I was hoping it would fix that problem. Almost be something kind of like Kingdoms of Amalur, which has its flaws, but ultimately is a great gameplay experience, and I was kind of right. I was looking at gameplay of Avowed, and everyone was talking about how the story is decent, the characters are just a bit but the combat and gameplay and exploration are really fun. And honestly, what I was being reminded of the most was Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which was a video that, or a game that I actually only downloaded at the start of the week just to jump in and play for random reasons. I just wanted to play that game. And Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, or Re-Reckoning, the version I was playing, is just a really fun action RPG with a load of different weapons. You can mix and match. Like, you can be a mix between a mage and a warrior, or a rogue and a warrior, or a rogue and a mage, and you can have two different types of weapons, loads of different spells. It was really fun just to run around, kill enemies, do very, basic, boring MMO style quests, but just to do them was fun. And honestly, that's kind of what Avowed looks like to me. Now that I'm a bit further into Avowed, I can see the Kingdoms of Amalur similarities. In that game, you could do anything. You could be a straight up warrior, mage, or rogue, or you could mix and match all of them. You could have a staff as your main attack and a sword as your secondary, as well as a nice sprinkling of magic, or like a scorpion get over here hook. And just like Kingdoms of Amalur, in Avowed, I kept experimenting with all sorts of weapons, and I eventually landed on a dagger and a pistol in one slot, and then a wand and a grimoire in another. Oh, this is class. Oh wait, I wonder if later I can use like a pistol and magic all at once. That might be the shout. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yep. We're gonna use magic. I don't know why anybody would do anything other than use magic. Oh, a Zorop tongue. Nice. I don't know why anybody would do anything but use magic in this game. Kind of like when you started Skyrim back in the day, when you realize you can have a sword in one hand and a spell in the other, you're like, oh my god! All of this expression in combat is perfect for the kind of player I am. I prefer when RPGs like this make you a blank canvas. In the likes of Skyrim, you don't have history, so nobody knows who you are until the pivotal moment at the start of the game. So it leaves it open to a lot of expression in who your character is. You have no existing relationships with anybody, and you didn't go on any noteworthy adventures before this. And it's the complete opposite in Avowed, because in it you are an envoy, and people know who you are and react accordingly. Now, you can still make your character into whatever you want them to be, but those previous relationships feel like they take one hand off the wheel from me. And in this analogy of me having one hand off the steering wheel because there are previous relationships in this game, the fungal man on the front of the Avowed cover grabs my hand and puts it back on the wheel because they let me do whatever I like in combat, which realistically is the main reason that I'm going to stick with the game for now. On the RPG-ness of the game, I can't really talk too much about it because I'm still really early in the game. I need to see how the story pans out and how the characters develop, and if it will all hook me in the end. My only issue so far is that you become really fast friends with your companions. Kai is the first companion you meet, and he's cool, his voice acting is amazing. But no joke, 15 minutes after I met him, I was chatting to him at a camp, and this happened. Chanting.
I haven't seen this much excitement in a while. Perhaps I've got you to thank for bringing it with you, Envoy.
Mate, we've known each other for 5 seconds. in the conversations with your companions, you have a couple of options that you can almost doubt them or question their intentions, but it doesn't really materialize in any real conflict from what I've seen so far, and I would like to see a bit more friction there. The only other point that I want to make on the RPG side of Avowed is that I like when I can experience a new universe in a way that suits me more. So far, I've been given all these little nuggets and proper nouns, and right now, I'm trying to move them around in my head and figure out what's going on. But there's something exciting to experience a new fantasy world. Fantasy is my favorite genre to consume, so I'm always here for these new worlds and crazy creatures and magic and spells and bows and flintlock pistols. It's just right up my alley. And don't get me wrong, I like traditional CRPGs like Pillars of Eternity, but I grew up on the likes of Oblivion and Fallout 3, so that is the way I like to play these sort of RPGs, and it's one of my favorite things about Avowed. See, because this is what I like about when you get games set in the same universe but in different game styles. Like, I enjoy CRPGs, but they do certainly take a lot for me to get into them and properly commit the time, especially because they're usually very long as well. I'm doing all this YouTube stuff. I don't always have the time to be able to put that much time into an RPG and that. And I just like that this style of first-person Skyrim-ish RPG is more my style of game. And now I can experience this world and hopefully find a new, RPG world that I really like. And then also, maybe, if I really like it, I might go back and play Pillars 1. I think that's potentially one of the coolest things about this game. Last year we got Dragon Age Veilguard, and I couldn't help but keep that game in the back of my mind going into Avowed. And it's for many reasons. Both were multiplayer games that were later turned single player, and you can see that DNA run through both of them, especially Veilguard. Definitely sometimes where developers release games that you're expecting, say, an Obsidian RPG, but it isn't exactly an Obsidian RPG, because this game was originally a multiplayer game, and from what I heard, you can see the multiplayerness in it with the way the characters interact, the way NPCs stand still, the way certain things go on in the game. It's similar to Veilguard, where in Veilguard you could see by the hub, it was set up like a very live service hub where the characters are in their specific spots, and you could see yourself going to your hub in Veilguard and then going to talk to, to be honest, I can't remember any of the NPCs of Veilguard's names. Give me an NPC in Veilguard. Give me an NPC in Veilguard. I put like 45, 50 hours into the game. Give me an NPC that isn't Varric.
A few moments later.
Balara? But I can see you and your mates going in, upgrading your gear, talking to Balara, going out on a quest, similar to like the Destiny tower. And that's what people say about the places in this game, so we'll see as we go along. I don't just want to shit on Veilguard as a comparison, because the exploration in both of these games is quite fun. Again, I'll take it back to Skyrim or Fallout. They understand exploration from a basic level. The worlds force you to explore them for many reasons. The first is the immersion, because it just makes you wander around the world and you end up stumbling across random caves or bandit camps. And the best thing is that a lot of them reward you. From the smallest reward, like a little story told through notes, which Avowed also does, to the biggest rewards like a unique weapon or a cool boss or anything like that. These are the things that keep you coming back for more in first-person RPGs, but Avowed went one step further. The traversal actually feels good. There's parkour, mantling, all this sort of stuff, and I've had a great time just stumbling across some rooms. You hear a jingle of some loot, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, how do I get into that room? And then you're looking up into the sky, you're like, okay, there's a little place like a platform over there, or maybe there's a wall I can blow up, or a spider web I can burn down, or something like that, and it just gives you that extra bit to keep you moving along. Okay, well, I feel well rewarded for going into that random cave that I found, which I like. And there's even more to explore down here, which I presume I can get to. Oh god, this level design is pretty fun. There's a lot to just look at, and even down here, look, there's another door that I didn't even go to, which maybe unlocks a shortcut. Let's see. And that's the thing about Avowed. I just had a great time actually playing the game, running around the world and doing side quests, finding runes to explore, fighting enemies. It's all just simply fun. And when I think of playing a game like Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 or Skyrim or the Outer Worlds, they give me a different experience. And yes, Avowed so far has actually had some really good side quests, specifically one about some Zorups and a girl, and they sort of humanized the Zorup somehow. I don't know, I felt kind of bad for them. I really liked that side quest. It happened again when I was heating up my soup tonight. I heard that same scratching. Sure enough, Zorup. The Zorup was outside. I dragged my chair in front of the door, but it didn't try to break through. It just poked around the weed patch and stared at me through the window. That's very creepy. What does it want? Do Zorups always bother people like this? Worse yet, why do I sometimes feel tempted to let him in? I keep having this dream about it. I'm always sitting at my table and the Zorup is there and we're looking at a loaf of bread on a plate. When I reach for the bread, I wake up. What if it's the same Zorup and it's just curious? What if it's hungry? I mean, what could it hurt? What am I thinking? This place has scrambled my head.
Anything juicy?
I mean, I would probably feel the same, to be honest. I'm a big softy. So they weren't trying to hurt her. Oh, now I kind of feel bad. Oh, I just killed.
I'm no art critic, but I've never seen a mural like that. Looks like an elf and Zorup holding hands.
That's exactly what I see.
What do you see?
Zorups don't paint like this. They certainly don't paint people.
Why don't we ask Tehangan about it? It's her house.
Wait, maybe she painted it. I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Zorup, for killing you. I feel a bit bad now. Yes, that's why we all play RPGs. We want to feel. We want to feel like our choices matter. We want to feel the impact of our choices, and now I'm just sad. I just killed some innocent Zorups. But ultimately, the thing that will keep me coming back is the fact that I just genuinely have fun. And right now, I'm recording and editing this video, and all I want to do is just go back and run around in Avowed. The story hasn't exactly gripped me right now. Maybe it will in the future, we'll see, but all I know is I'm actually just enjoying playing the game. So if you've enjoyed this video, I have a full video on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is almost the complete opposite of Avowed, where it is a completely reactive world, a completely RPG-led experience rather than focusing on the gameplay. It's an amazing game, one of the best games I've played in a long time. Very easily could be my game of the year at the end of the year, so check that out. Subscribe, whatever you want to do. Goodbye.